So today we are discussing Roni. She is a 26-year-old Jewish cisgender female. She lives in an urban community in Brooklyn, New York. She is a public defender and lives with her significant other, Jessica, and their two cats. They have been working with a relationship counselor for several months now, and Roni was just referred for individual therapy for additional support, kind of hoping that her and her partner having adjuncting therapies would benefit both of them in the long run. So if Roni were to come in and see me for some positive psychology, basically what we're going to do is we're going to value her subjective experiences. So we're going to focus on her well-being, her contentment and satisfaction of the past, and her hope and optimism for the future. So we didn't really get a lot of information from Roni's case, but one of the first questions that I would ask her would be, thank you for agreeing to meet with me through this referral, and thank you especially for agreeing to meet with me individually. So how does this make you feel? So rooting this question will kind of give me a sense of what her opinion is of this one-on-one therapy without her partner being present. It also kind of lets me see where she wants this to go and how willing she is to utilize this. I don't think this question would really be positive psychology right off the bat, but it would be a good way to get the session started. And then the second question I would ask her is, what is your view on how normal or exceptional human experience is? So basically, what is her take on the good things that people do day to day, the normal things that people do that maybe she doesn't feel like she's doing? Exceptional human experiences like thriving at a job and these subjective experiences of well-being and contentment. So just by asking her this question, it's kind of me asking her in an indirect way to play on her strengths, tell me what she sees in other people, and what she may perceive as the normal or exceptional human experience. The next question I would ask her, the third question, would be, what are your strengths? So with positive psychology, it's all about working with someone's strengths and kind of building off of the things that they feel good about. So for having her point out some strengths, and sometimes you'll get the patient that, or the client that is very kind of gives you a little bit of pushback, and maybe she'll say something like, I don't have any strengths. So I would rebuttal that with, okay, so what would you say what would your partner say your strengths are? Or what would you say your partner's strengths are? Or what are you looking for in strengths in someone? All of these things are rotating around the idea of strengths and benefiting, keeping things positive, and then just asking these questions that'll make her think of herself in a positive light. One of the next questions I would ask her is, if you were to go through this individual therapy, what would you hope to get through it? Or what would you hope to gain from it? And how can this benefit your relationship? So keyword being benefit, kind of looking into the future for her relationship, being optimistic, kind of if they do have any hardships within their relationship. I know that the presenting case didn't give much information in regards to that. But she was referred for individual therapy for additional support. So there was some kind of friction in the relationship, I'm assuming. And just kind of establishing those goals of what she hopes to accomplish while being here might help her feel better about being on the individual counseling, because she may also feel a little bit of guilt that her partner isn't there with her, and she might feel a little bit of guilt because she took on this referral, even though she might not have felt comfortable with it. One of the last questions that I would ask Roni would be basically, what are the strengths of your relationship with Jessica? just because in a relationship you always there's their ups and downs, and you always tend to focus on the positives and the negatives, and here focusing on the positives, they're both, or at least she is pretty young, she's only 26. um, it doesn't really give us a time of how long they've been living together or how long they've been dating each other. um, so just going off of what we have, I would hope that she would give these strength qualities of herself and her partner and what she looks for in someone that she identifies with, like her partner. If she's saying that, she's a good listener, she X, Y, and Z, all positive things, it'll benefit both of them in the long run because she's being honest with herself and she's being honest with me. So that would just correlate with their relationship counseling, and just kind of, I think, the benefit of having the individual and the relationship counselor is you kind of get both of those aspects. And even in the relationship counseling, they could still be working with positive psychology and drawing on the strengths of this relationship. And like their hope and optimism for the future is really what drives this, in my opinion, because they're in counseling because they're searching for a way to make things better in a sense, or try and fix something. So they're already taking the first step by attending counseling, and then attending this individual counseling is the next step in this kind of treatment plan for both of them. So I feel like Roni would really, really benefit from the idea of positive psychology. She seems very willing to comply with treatment. Like I said, there was not much information to go off of the presenting problem. But she has a good job. She's established at 26, and has a lot of really good things going for her. So for her to be able to point these things out herself in therapy would be really, really beneficial.